Herd at Sports Radio. Every weekday morning from 7 to 10 a.m. Join hosts Robbie Lula and Damon Benning and our cast of Herd at Sports personalities as they share their fresh perspectives while keeping you highly entertained. Take a dive into the latest news in all things sports, from the pros to right here at home. Catch Herd at Sports Radio with Robbie Lula and Damon Benning, 7 to 10 a.m. on air, online, and on podcast. Herd at Sports Radio.
WTL.
It's time!
WTL.
I think we got a show. Oh yeah, we got a show.
WTL.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm yours, Andy Classen, joined by
JaBron.
The Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
Yes, we are. An exciting weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was awesome.
A lot of things happening there. Of course, we have to talk the show, Major League Baseball. It was all fun.
Just a lot of fun.
A lot of nitpicking here and there, but you were watching the Home Run Derby.
For sure.
You're glued to it.
Probably my favorite event, not only of just All-Star Weekend, but of baseball in general. That's just something that everybody grows up doing.
Yeah.
You emulating the Home Run Derby in our front yard, picking who we wanted, Ken Griffey Jr., all this stuff. So I actually got to go to a Home Run Derby in Colorado a couple years ago. It's still probably my favorite sporting event that I've ever been to, so I'm always glued to the TV.
Yeah, the biggest, I think, jab at it is that a lot of the big names that you want to see in it don't do it for this or that type of reason. But then on the flip side, you get to see a lot of young guys.
Exactly.
How about Alec Baum?
Baum.
You get to see that guy,
and he did a really good job, too. Made it to the semifinals. Kid out of Omaha. That's crazy that he made it to the show. Not only made it to the show, he's an all-star, first-time all-star, and he participated in the Home Run Derby and dang near won it.
Yeah, third baseman, and we were talking about him last year getting his shot, and he just kept staying in the lineup, and here he is now, and how fun is that?
For a World Series contender, he is one of the best players in the game. But yeah, he had crazy odds at plus 2,400, Andy, going into the Home Run Derby. The guy that won it, Teoscar Hernandez, had plus 1,200, so, throw a $10 bet on him, you're taking home $120. I have to admit that I put, a couple bets on the favorite, Pete Alonso, which did terrible. But also the guy from KC, down from KC who made the finals, Bobby Witt Jr., just a rising star with the Royals. He did such a great job. Lost out on it by one home run. So
and it looked like he had it.
He looked like he had it.
I hope he does it. I hope he does it again. I hope he doesn't follow suit with a lot of these guys. Well,
he's getting so much star power that he might not do it again. But it looks like he likes to entertain the people, and it was a lot of fun watching him.
Yeah, and Alec Baum hit 21 homers, so pretty sweet to see that young man. Aside from the national anthem, everything I thought went
oh my God.
everything went pretty well.
That chick was giving Fergie a run for her money. That was pretty bad, but who am I to judge? I couldn't sing it any better.
And a little side note here, we do want to make mention now that the Major League Baseball has parlayed this with the draft.
Yeah.
A couple youngsters out of Nebraska got drafted. Millard West, Tyson Lewis got drafted by the Cincinnati Reds.
Yep.
And Norris standout, Cale Fountain. I mean, everyone was kind of looking at that. He also got drafted.
Straight out of high school.
Out of high school, straight into the pros.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we also had a couple Huskers, didn't we?
The Huskers. Yeah, we had Josh Caron get selected to the Seattle Mariners, and then our ace, Brett Sears, to the Atlanta Braves in the 7th round. So that's a lot of cool stuff. And I just, going through stuff, that's 5 Husker pitchers that have been drafted in the first 10 rounds under Will Bolt.
Yeah.
That is absolutely crazy. Since 2021, we have 5 pitchers that are pitching in the major leagues.
Yeah, he's kind of figured that out, that if we're going to have a chance, we need pitching.
We need starting pitching.
Yeah, and you're starting to see that. I also thought it was kind of interesting, which I was reading a lot of national articles. Yeah. They were surprised that Sears kind of got drafted in that spot. I'm like, well, no, you're not.
No,
not
you're
if
not.
You saw how he burned through the second half of the season.
It was awesome.
And I get it. It's Big Ten competition versus ACC or SC or whatever.
SEC.
But he was still putting people on the pine.
He was an ace.
Yes,
he was an ace, and he took us pretty far this year. So, no, glad to see him win and get drafted.
Yeah, and then let's do a little recap of the All-Star game. Hey, Showtime. Shohei.
Show
I
man.
mean,
The showman. Yeah.
I think he produced all the offense for the National League.
Yep.
That's right.
3-run jack, 2 hits. Yeah.
All the RBIs, and of course it was Shohei.
Yeah, it's Shohei. He's just the best player in baseball, Andy. There's no getting around it, especially in the National League. It's going to be pretty tough to beat this Dodger team when it comes playoff time. I'm glad that some of my favorites are in the American League.
Yeah, and we also saw some record-breaking performances.
Yeah.
My guy, Miller from the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah.
Fastest pitch ever thrown in an All-Star game.
Pretty cool.
All right, we're going to trade him.
Yeah,
get rid of that guy.
No, he's on the chopping block for sure. You guys can't hold on to him much longer.
Let's see. What did he throw? 100.6 miles per hour, and then he threw another one, 101.8.
That's Mason Miller who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool, Andy, and that's one of the bets that I was going to bring up here in a little bit, of future bets that we're going on right now, is I think Mason Miller has a very good chance at Rookie of the Year in the American League.
Yeah.
But I think there's a reasonable chance that he gets traded before August rolls around here, so it could hurt his chance at Rookie of the Year. So I was going to make that point a little later, but I think he might get traded, which is really, really sad for the Oakland Athletics.
Hey, that's
Las Vegas Athletics.
Or is it San Diego next year? Whatever.
Who knows?
They'll figure
but
it out.
It was a fun All-Star game, and I bet on the over, which it was set at 7.5. It got to 8 runs.
Yep.
A lot of people wouldn't with the robust pitching that everybody had, but they only had Skeens in there for one inning.
Yep.
So he could have probably fanned the whole crew, but I guess not.
Yeah, he didn't throw too many pitches either, but everybody got the matchup that they wanted.
They did.
Aaron Judge
versus Paul Skeens.
Yep, and Juan Soto
and
said
Soto as well.
He said he was going to make it happen, and he did. He led off with a walk.
Yep, got Judge to it.
Yep, and then Judge
grounded out.
Yeah, grounded out to hey, who we're talking about? Bomb.
Skeens.
Yeah, but Skeens, he was throwing some nasty heat there.
Yeah, he's the man.
It was pretty cool. A lot of fun things there. Popular bet that I agreed with was American League money line.
Yeah, no
minus
doubt.
120. You know, what do you expect? And that's just kind of the way it's been going a lot lately, and it did cash.
I love the American League in that game. It just seemed like they had especially if they weren't going to hang on to their guys, Shohei, Skeens, for over a longer period of time. I thought the American League was definitely deeper. So, yeah.
All right, so now that we're getting into the back half of the season, or post-All-Star game, let's do a little look ahead on some divisional winners. I know you're kind of eyeballing 4 best bets moving forward, and it's more than halfway done now. Everyone thinks it's kind of the midway point, and that's how it's referred
more
to.
than
it is. It's over halfway, so we've seen a lot. Everybody's got a break, so all those little nagging injuries that everyone kind of took advantage of and put their guys on the 10-day, IL, whatever it is now. But now they should be ready to go.
Yeah.
And I do want to make mention real quick here. Congratulations to JaBron taking
MVP.
home. If you had money on him, which nobody outside of Boston did.
Yeah, right.
But congratulations to all you Bostonites cashing on that MVP bet.
I agree. It's crazy to pick bets like that, but throw it on there, and if it hits, it hits. But no, he had that late homer, and he deserved the MVP. So
yes, he did.
That's what happened.
All righty. Well, hey, let's start in that American League then. The American League East. What are you looking at?
Well, Andy, this is one of my safer bets. Look in the futures. The Baltimore Orioles are still plus money to take down the American League East, Andy, at plus 115. I really like this bet, even though they're in the division with the Yankees, Andy, only one game behind them.
Yeah.
But the Baltimore Orioles, they're a lot younger than the Yankees are.
That's right.
The Yankees get a lot more hurt than the Baltimore Orioles.
They're definitely more injury prone.
They definitely are. Giancarlo was on the IL before the break and all that kind of stuff. So I love that the Orioles have the lead right now, and they're still a plus money bet at plus 115. I just think that's one of your best bets of a team winning the division, because you know that they're not going to slow down. They're a young team. They're hungry. They want to win this division.
They're knocking on the door last year.
No doubt about it.
Knocking on the door last year.
That is one of my safer bets of this division winner.
All right, well, let's move on over into your division with your Twinkies. That's the American League Central.
You probably know what I'm going to say here, Andy, and I think probably are listeners know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I still have hope in my Twins. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
They're a really good team, top to bottom. Got some really good pitching right now. And if Carlos Correa, Buxton, and Royce Lewis can stay healthy in this back half of the season, Andy,
that's it.
They just have the best team in the American League Central, flat out. They do. They're 4.5 games back. They're sitting right now at plus 220, I believe, 210 plus 210 to win this division.
Yeah.
I believe it's a very good bet for the return that you're getting at plus 210. I just really believe that they're the best team in the Central, and I believe that they're going to win this division. I really believe that they are.
And if you've been keeping your eye on some daily fantasy stuff, you've noticed that some of the Cleveland players have kind of cooled off.
No doubt.
And maybe they'll be rejuvenated after the break and all that, but man, those numbers started to kind of get back to the medium or where they were kind of expected.
Yeah, I mean, they are a good team, and a lot of people are probably going to backlash me for this, but I just think that the Minnesota Twins roster, top to bottom, if they're healthy, is a lot better than the Cleveland Guardians, and I just think a lot of people should be able to see that and take that plus money bet while it's there.
Over plus 200, 210?
Plus 210.
Where have you at? Okay. How about that American League West?
Yeah, the American League West is where I get a little wonky here, Andy. It's a big one. It's plus 850 for the Texas Rangers, Andy.
Hey, we've seen them do it before.
We've seen them do it before, Andy, and the reason that I got to say it is I do not believe in the Seattle Mariners or the Houston Astros this year. Another thing that I'm saying is Texas also projects to have one of the league's easiest schedule down the stretch. The combined winning percentage of its remaining opponents is a putrid .486, which is tied for fourth lowest of any team. Of the 66 games the Rangers have yet to play, 20 will be against the White Sox, 7 games against the White Sox, 6 against the Athletics, and 7 against the Angels, Andy. Those happen to be the 3 worst clubs in the American League. I really like Texas to get on a roll here and really put it to it and maybe win this division. It's an out there bet, Andy, but it's plus 850. That's a return of, if you put $20 on it, of $190. So I think it's as good a bet as you're going to get it on a future with some high potential coming back at you.
Yeah, and it's not all based on Seattle cooling off. You're looking at who they're playing against.
And they're only 5 games back.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, that can change in one series after playing Oakland. We've seen that before.
Or one series playing against the Mariners.
Yeah.
It's crazy, Andy.
That too. Yeah,
they're plus, we're talking about the Twins that are pretty much the same games back at a plus 210. We get plus 850 for the Rangers, who have won a World Series recently and have some really good bats. So I really like this Texas Ranger bet, plus 850. It's too good of value to push aside.
Yeah, now at least put a little sprinkle on it after the All-Star break.
Put a little sprinkle on.
All right, let's move on over to the National League, and I think you're looking at the Central here.
I'm looking at the Central, Andy, and it's something I've kind of been harping on the last couple weeks, and it is the St. Louis Cardinals. I believe that they are the best team in the Central. I thought that coming in here, and they just started really, really slow, but I believe that they are picking up, and they're going to continue to pick up. They're 4.5 games back now, Andy. Yeah. And I don't like the Brewers all that much, and the value of the St. Louis Cardinals is sitting there at plus 475, Andy. Ooh. And they're second in the division right now. You put $25 on this to receive 143, 144. Yeah. That is a very good return on not very much investment. I believe they have the best roster in the National League Central, and it's going to turn out that way for the St. Louis Cardinals. Yeah, you still got a lot of folks thinking that, okay, the Cardinals have kind of outkicked their coverage. Yeah. And they're going to get back to medium. But I kind of like what you were talking about maybe a week and a half ago, where you're saying, look, Goldie, Goldschmidt, he's Arenado. They got Nolan Arenado, one of the best players in baseball, batting like 6 right now. You know that's not going to continue to happen. Right. He's going to get back up in the lineup. He's going to become his all-star self. Paul Goldschmidt's going to start whacking him as well. Yep. I love the St. Louis Cardinals, the position that they're in. They're going to steal this division, and plus 425 right now is very good odds for it.
I think you got a pretty good case to be made there. I kind of like all those long shots.
Let's go. So, they're futures for a reason, people. They're futures for a reason.
Well, let's take a quick minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. World class in every glass. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. And Welcome back, everybody, to WTL. You know what that stands for. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Classen, joined by
JaBron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
And we talked a little baseball. You know, it was pretty fun. All-star game. All the fun that goes with
Love that stuff.
Gearing up for the second half of the season now.
Yeah.
And now let's talk about the 152nd Open Championship.
The championship.
This is going to be at Royal Troon Golf Club over there in Scotland. And let's see here. I got some stats on this course, and this is going to weigh heavy into why we're betting it a certain way.
Yeah.
Par 27, length 1,191 yards. This course has been around for a little while. Did you know that?
Yeah, it's pretty old, I think.
1878 is when they got this sucker up.
Wow.
And running. Yeah. So, but what did you say the last time?
The last time they visited is 2016, which was a historic duel between Henrik Stenson and Phil Mickelson.
Mickelson, yes. So Royal Troon, I mean, when you're talking golf and on the international scale, this is, one of the places everyone's kind of looking to.
No doubt. It's very cool.
And what I've been hearing about this course is it has those historically smaller greens.
Yep.
And they're very flat. They're not as roly-poly as a lot of them have been as of late that these guys have been playing on. So your putter isn't going to be as important because everyone should be able to get a one putt on these smaller greens or a two putt at worst. So it's kind of interesting, and also it's not as lengthy as some of these courses.
Yep.
So this is one of those in-betweeners where I don't know if it puts a big stick, a big swinger at a disadvantage, but it's not as valuable.
Yeah.
And if your putting is your strong suit, this is kind of an equalizer too with these greens being so small.
Yeah, it's kind of catch-22 on both sides of the spectrum there, Andy. And yeah, obviously that's why Mr. DeChambeau is kind of down the list a little bit here, but not too far down the list, but that's probably why.
Leave my DeChambeau alone.
Yeah.
No, what you're really looking for is somebody that's heating up with the irons, solid ball striker, and maybe not as far as length is concerned, but hitting the fairways. That's what you're looking for on this type of course, and really you're looking for that on a lot of these Scotland courses.
So Scotty Scheffler?
Yeah, he's your favorite out of plus 450. Yeah, they walked right into that one.
Yeah.
And he should be the odds-on favorite. I don't think he's picking up a lot of traction, though. People just aren't betting him that much. Although, I picked him 3 weeks ago, and he came through for me.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I know the odds weren't the best, but my God, everything's pointing towards Scotty right now.
Yeah, Andy, and right behind him you got Rory at plus 850, Xander Schauffele plus 1,200, Colin Morikawa plus 1,400, Aberg right at 2,000 with Bryson DeChambeau and John Rahm. So that's kind of how the top is settled there, Andy. I'll just go into one of my best bets that I think is going to happen here, Andy.
Okay.
Is Tony Finau. Top 20 finishes at a plus 225 right now, Andy. That is crazy value for a guy that I think might go top 10, top 5 in this event. Finau has 5 straight top 18 finishes. 2 of those came in the last 2 major championships. Over those 5 events, Finau is gaining an average of 9 strokes on the field. So I'm just saying, combined with the incredible Open Championship record that Tony has, 6 top 30 finishes and 7 open starts, here's one final edge. Finau has positively gained with his putter in 3 straight events. Finau will finish inside the top 20. That's a nice cash to start out your betting on the Open Championship. Plus 225, top 20 bet on Tony Finau.
Yeah, and to win it, he's a plus 4,500.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that his name's catching a lot of
value bet.
Yeah, it really is. He hasn't finished worse than 18th since May.
Right.
And he fits the bill exactly as to what I was talking about, where he's a versatile ball striker.
Yeah.
He keeps it on the fairway, he keeps it on the green, and like you just said, his putter is starting to heat up too, and that's never a bad thing when you're going for a major.
For sure. No, I just love that bet. I think it's very good value at plus 225 right now on DraftKings and most books for Tony Finau, top 20 finish.
There we go. Yeah, and I mean, a lot of folks are picking him to win, just outright,
no doubt.
For the long shot. You got another best bet there.
My other best bet is a head-to-head bet that a lot of people are going on, and that is Brian Harman over Jordan Spieth. It's minus 110 bet just because it's a straight-up head-to-head bet, Andy.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at this point that Spieth really hasn't figured anything out.
People are still betting him too.
Right, just because he's the name. He's just the name. Spieth has 1 top 10 finish in the last 5 months, Andy.
Yeah.
He missed the cut at the Scottish Open and looked visibly frustrated more than ever. The approach game continues to haunt him while the putter has not, has just evaporated on him. So I just love Brian Harman over him. -110. Harman returns as the champion golfer of the year, tied 21st at the Scottish Open. He continues to strike the ball incredibly well. In the past 5 years, Harman has gained an average of 4.5 strokes on the field.
Yeah.
Take the defending champion at a moment where he is better suited here to handle Royal Troon's test over the struggling Spieth. -110 bet straight across. I love Brian Harman over Jordan Spieth.
Yeah, it's pretty hard not to take Harman in that spot there.
Love it.
Head up. I got another head up here for you.
Yeah,
See what you think. Xander Schauffele, -135 over Aberg. A couple of leaders going into it.
Yeah.
And I think Schauffele is getting a lot of the action here at that -135.
Yeah, Schauffele is definitely the guy to go with. He's the more on fire guy right now. You still love Aberg, what he can do and all that kind of stuff. But Xander's trying to win this tournament.
Yeah.
I believe Aberg is still sitting there, kind of sitting there like, yeah, I could win it. And, if I'm there on Sunday, that's cool and all this stuff. Xander's there to compete with Scotty and Rory. That's where he's at.
Yeah.
In his mind, Schauffele wants to win this tournament, so I really like that. And that's why you're getting those odds at a -135.
Yeah, and it's just a head-to-head, just kind of a fun head-to-head. I believe that's over on MGM. We're just kind of looking at some different books here and what they're putting out there. I'm surprised more books don't do some of those fun bets.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
With the head-to-head.
For sure. Those head-to-head bets are really fun. And if you spot a couple that you like, you can really, win some money on the first couple days on those and then put it towards your winner on Sunday. But no, I love Xander. That's why he's at a +1,200 to win outright.
Yep.
One of my best bets was Xander to go top 5, and this is at a +250 right now. So I love Xander this weekend as well, like you're saying.
Just kind of flipping up and down through a few different books here, and I found your guy, and I kind of like this.
Yeah.
Tony Finau, top 10, +300.
Love it. Love it.
For all the things we just said.
Shop these guys. Shop these guys wherever you can find it. You can find Tony Finau a top 5 right now at +900, a top 10 at a +400 to 350. Like you just said, don't. If you got a guy that you have in your mind that you think can go top 10, can go top 20, shop it around. I mean, Brooks Koepka is taking a +700 at top 5 right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to save those guys for a little bit down. I guess we can bring it up right now, Andy.
Yeah.
One of the funner bets that I was looking at is the top live golfer, because literally we are kicking these guys out. We are saying goodbye to the live golfers after this week. They literally have 4 events left, and they're not going to get invited to the President's Cup in September. Imagine a world where Bryson DeChambeau finishes top 10 in all 4 majors, wins the U.S. Open, and doesn't play for the American side. It's absolutely nuts how they're just shoving these live golfers out of everything.
Wild.
But this is the last weekend for him, Andy, that we're going to be able to see him on TV, that we're going to be, competing in a major. So right now,
so I'm not buying that streaming service.
Yeah, the line is right now is Bryson DeChambeau +350, Jon Rahm +350 for the top live golfer. Right down, like I was saying with Brooks, he's at a +600 to be the top live golfer. I mean, I think you have to go with Bryson just because how hot he's been. Even
Brooksy's been shaky with that putter.
He always is, though.
Man.
He always is, and then in majors he turns it on. So I just like the value with Brooks a little bit better than I like it all the way down at +350 with Jon Rahm and DeChambeau. Not that they can't win this thing, they definitely can, but I like Brooks at the +600 to win for that top live golfer.
All right. Do you want to give me a long shot?
Yeah. Well, I think my long shot might be my best bet, and that it's Rory to win.
Okay.
It's +850, Andy. That's a really long shot, Andy.
Yeah.
It's time for Rory to win another major championship. I'm not usually a Rory bettor. I like Rory, but I'm not usually throwing too much cash at him. I can't ignore the trend heading into Royal Troon. Since the back-to-back wins before the PGA Championship, Rory has 5 straight top 15 finishes, most focused on the stunning second place at Pinehurst, but I'm also looking at the big picture. No player has more top 10s in major championships over the last few years. Since winning at Royal Liverpool in 2014, Rory has 5 top 10s and 7 starts at this tournament, at the Open. It's time to take Rory and celebrate with him along the way all Sunday.
All
I think Roy takes this down plus 850 is my long shot of the weekend.
I really can't argue with Rory in this spot at this golf course. I'm going to double you up, though. That was plus 800?
Plus 850. Plus 850.
I got a plus 1600.
Let's go.
Colin Morikawa to win.
Morikawa! Let's go, Colin.
10 straight top 25 finishes.
Go.
Tied for third at the Masters, fourth at the PGA, and he was also 14th at the U.S. Open.
Yep.
And like you're just saying, everything you made the case for there, it's got to happen sometime.
It's got to happen.
That's
for
what
Colin,
everybody's saying.
It's got to happen.
Yep, and a lot of guys that I look to and lean to like to read their articles and stuff throughout the week. They are high on Morikawa in this spot. Once again, they think his game, his versatility, his irons right now, his approach is on fire. And so this is a spot where, hey, this is a long shot. This is a plus 1,600 bet to win the whole darn thing. I'll probably look a little deeper into it as far as top 20s, top 10s like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Throughout the week. But that's my long shot.
That's your long shot. And plus 1,400 where I'm looking at, DraftKings plus 1,600 where you're looking at. Just a $20 bet is giving you back $300, Andy. So that is just a little bit amount of money for that great value back. I love Colin Morikawa. I think he's got a very good chance this weekend.
I do too, obviously.
Yep.
Well, let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Stock and Rod Company, an outdoor lifestyle brand for those seeking adventure. Whether it's hunting, fishing, hiking, they got you covered. Visit stockandrod.com to get your wild game on. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Classen, joined by
JaBron.
The Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
Yes, we are. You know, we can't get too far away from mixed martial arts,
we can't,
can we?
Especially
UFC?
This time of year.
Yeah.
They're throwing out all the big fights. We got another huge card.
It was just in Denver.
Just in Denver.
Yep.
We got another huge card coming down the line next weekend in, I believe, London. It's going to be awesome.
Yep.
But, Fight Night this week's going to be fun as well.
Yeah, going back to the Apex and glitzy Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yes.
Nevada. All right. But we want to start kind of towards the top of the card
For
here.
sure.
A middleweight bout between Brad Tavares and Yun Young Park.
Yes.
And Park is your favorite at a minus 185. You got the United States versus South Korean.
Yep.
But Park is your minus 180, 185 favorite.
Yeah, Andy, and I've been betting on Park for a while as I feel he's been undervalued coming up the ranks a little bit. And I was horrified when the judges gave the decision over him in last fight. So I thought he would be kind of an underdog here against, a name like Brad Tavares.
Yeah.
But Tavares sitting there at plus 150, 145, wherever you see him at. Yeah. This is a tough one for me because I like betting on Park, but he's normally been a steal at the number. He's been a plus money bet. So, but he's a big favorite here, so I hate the number. On the other hand, it's Brad Tavares who recently only wins against Chris Weidman, who is kind of, on the last leg, while losing to Dreykus, Bruno Silva, and Gregory Rodriguez. Tavares has showed good takedown defense, but his durability failed him as he got knocked out in his last fight in the third round. Park's best offense is when he gets opponents on the ground, but I don't think that's going to be easy to get Tavares down off his feet. Tavares might have the more power here, Andy, so that's where you kind of got to look at this. In the end, though, I do believe I can't bet on the American here. I feel bad that I can't. I just don't think he throws enough volume for anything that's going to hurt Park. So I believe he's going to be knocked out again.
Really?
It's not a confident play, but I believe Park should win. I'm not taking anything.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything but the money line on Park because I just don't know how this is going to end. Could be knockout, could be decision, whatever you want to say, but Park should win this fight.
Yeah, that money line's right there. And if you're not talking money line, you're probably looking towards by decision. Yeah. Because both these guys have lengthy average fight times.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Tavares does not get knocked out a lot.
And he doesn't knock many people out.
Correct.
His fights average 13 minutes.
Yeah.
So and Park's right there with him at 11 and a half minutes.
Yeah, and if you are looking for a plus money bet for this fight, Park by decision is at a plus 150. So
I like that.
If you like that as a parlay piece, you like that, whatever. But if you think Brad can come out here and knock him out. It's the only other thing that I can think about is Brad Tavares by knockout is a plus 700. So that is your kind of lengthy bet if you're on the American side there. So that is one thing that I would maybe sprinkle a little bit on, but I do believe Park gets the decision, plus 150, or just go straight money line and throw that in a parlay as well.
Yeah, both these fighters are coming off a loss, but Park, there's a little bit of controversy there.
Yeah, I think he won.
Yeah, and UFC, I don't know. I just don't get it. There always seems to be more controversy with those decisions.
Right. Well, because the UFC doesn't, they don't control it. It's the commission that doesn't. Then
it's so
Dana's
wild.
Mad about it. Yeah. So it is crazy that they are still governed by, the commission and all that kind of stuff. But that's probably the way that it has to be.
Yeah, probably does have to be that way. But then you're always going to have the
controversy.
Everybody
who won.
saw it this way, but
exactly.
Nope, judges saw it that way.
Yep.
That's to the fun, I guess.
It does.
Depends what side you're on.
I hope Tavares wins, but I just don't think so. Park is the play here for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get on to the main event. Women's strawweight bout. A couple Brazilians.
Yeah.
2 Brazilian is what we're talking here.
Yep.
Amanda Lemos, your number 3 contender of this weight class, taking on the number 5 veranda contender, Jandiroba. Jandiroba. She is a tough-looking lady, I will say that, and she's also your favorite at a minus 135. Little surprising here. I know it made you raise an eyebrow that Lemos is the underdog, but she's the more decorated fighter.
Yeah.
She's the higher-ranked fighter, yet she's not bad. I mean, but she is your underdog at a plus 120.
Yeah, I love it, Andy. I love the value here because this fight comes down to whether Lemos can keep this on the feet and win the striking battle, or Roba get the takedowns and control the fight on the ground. That's the two things. These are 2 separate fighters. One can strike. One is a very good takedown artist. So, in Lemos' last fight, we saw her get taken down and controlled in the first round, but then her power on the feet showed up, and she beat Mackenzie Dern the rest of the fight on the feet, was able to beat her up really good, and that's a very good fighter in Mackenzie Dern. Zhang was able to take down Lemos down multiple times en route to her win, but that's Zhang. She's the best fighter in the whole entire women's fighting. That's very hard. I think Lemos is a great underdog play here, as it only take a couple devastating overhand shots to Jandiroba's forward pressure. So I love the plus money in Lemos in this fight.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. Just looking at some of their different statistics here, and these are complete opposite style fighters.
Yeah, it is.
And as long as Amanda can keep it on
correct
upright, she's going to have a great chance to win here regardless. Probably land a knockout. I mean, she's going to be looking to do that.
I believe so.
She lands that knockout 60% of her fights.
No doubt. And Jandiroba has been a great bet as a dog, like I was just saying about Park in the previous fight. But this is way too much respect against Lemos. She is one of the top fighters in the division, one of the best women fighters in the game. Plus 120 is definitely the play, Andy.
Yeah, I really can't argue. The plus money, you got the favorite, and I just like her stats and how she stacks up against Jandiroba here. And it's your headliner. It's a fight night. I get it, but we still like to see fireworks to wrap up a show. This is a key spot here for Lemos to actually land that knockout that everyone's going to be looking for. That knockout's at a plus, what do we got here?
215.
215?
Yeah. And I was definitely looking at that, Andy, but it's not a lot more value than the plus 160 bet of just her straight up money line. So if it goes to the decision, she somehow gets a submission or whatever, or it ends in a crazy way, you're still getting that value at plus 160, 110, wherever you can find it. And still, I think Amanda's the play here. I think she's going to get out of here with a win in good fashion as well.
For me, this is the classic UFC, don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it. She's the better fighter, I believe.
And I know you're getting plus money. Just be happy and take it.
Be happy with the underdog play here is definitely the better fighter.
All right, should we talk some pay-per-view boxing?
Let's do it.
If you want
the problem child. He's back.
Oh boy, Jake. Well, he never went anywhere. Jake Paul is scheduled to fight July 20th. Here we go, Saturday night in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah.
And it's against Mike Tyson. No, not Mike Tyson.
Not Iron Mike.
Oh man, Mike Perry. So the pay-per-views probably dropped off a little bit here, but I'll tell you what, the more I learn about Mike Perry, the more I'm liking this under bet here. Of course, Jake Paul is your heavy favorite. I was looking at, plus 400, plus 420, depending on where you're looking at it. But give us a little rundown on Mike Perry. I know he was in the UFC, and currently he's 5-0 in bare knuckle boxing.
It's crazy. He's 33 years old, Andy, and he's had
6 years older than Jake.
Exactly. His MMA career ended when he looked disinterested, overmatched in 2020, ending his career in a 1-4 skid. Though Perry rejuvenated himself in the world of bare knuckle boxing, like you just said, and he is. I think he is no better a match for Paul than Tyson.
Yeah, 60 whatever year old.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a thought that the 33-year-old will do better against Paul than other MMA turned boxing foes he's conquered, mainly due to his performance in boxing like Combat League, like you just said, in the bare knuckle fighting. So the thing that I like about Perry, he has only been knocked out twice in his professional fighting career. The first happened in a boxing match against Kenneth McNeil in 2015. Then Jeff Neal stopped him in the UFC match in 2019. His charges are predictable and easy to time, which is, I think, a big reason why Jake Paul scheduled this fight. But his relentless and solid chin mean that Paul will have to really want to get a stoppage, as Perry won't stop coming at him. So I really believe the bet here, Andy, if there is a bet here, is that Jake Paul wins this by decision. It's still pretty good money at plus 250. I think that is the only bet that I will be looking at for this fight.
So Perry spent 5 years in the UFC. And had a decent enough record. Went 7-8, just 15 out. It wasn't nothing to sneeze at there.
No doubt.
And then moved on over and he's one of the headliners. He's getting a big fat check from the BKFC Bare Knuckle Federation Championships.
Fighting Championship.
So, and I just don't know. Yeah, Jake Paul, he's very meticulous how he picks who he wants to fight.
Yeah.
And I know he thinks he's going to piece this guy up, but this Perry dude is a little bit younger than some of these guys. And he's been boxing a little bit now. And Paul, he's 9-1 now? 9-1 overall. But the only guy he lost to was a boxer.
Was a boxer. And I think he's still going to fight Tyson, sometime.
Think so?
Yeah, I think at the end of this year they're still trying to get it done. It's just that he has to do something in between of what's going on. But no, like I said, I think that Paul probably does win this fight. I don't think he gets the knockout. And even if you are betting Jake Paul knockout, that's a minus 125. I don't believe that that's a very good value bet.
That's terrible.
I think that Mike Perry might be able to go to the distance with him, get that plus 250 bet, and lock it in on Jake Paul. If you think Mike Perry can hang with him and trade shots with him, him by knockout is a plus 450 right now, which I don't.
I probably like that better for a sprinkle than I do Jake Paul.
No doubt.
Now, Jake Paul is 9-1, and he does have 6 KOs, and I think that's what everybody's looking at. But he's K&O. He's knocking out
basketball players, wrestlers.
Anderson Silva, 15 years after he retired from the UFC and never boxed before.
Tyron Woodley.
What are we talking about
here? Grappler, Ben Askren, grappler. This guy fights in bare knuckle boxing. So if I was going to throw a parlay, Andy, on the fighting weekend, I will tell you what it is. It's just what I talked about. Jake Paul by decision, plus 250, paired with Amanda Lemos of the UFC, the last fight we did, a plus 110. Put them together at a plus 635 parlay, putting 25 on that to win 183.
I love that. Again, I feel like you're stealing with Lemos there.
It is. It's just really, really good. She's the best fighter on the card, and she's going to win.
There you go, from the Parlay Pounder, just
Let's
a two-legger.
go.
Okay. You heard the horn. That means we're up against it, but we got to take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. We've been enjoying the EOS Hefeweizen, one of their core series beers. That's a Bavarian wheat. Nebraska Brewing Company, world class in every glass. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm yours, Andy Classen, joined by
JaBron.
The Parlay Pounder.
You got it.
Yes, and I think, Yeah, we got to talk college football.
We have to. Everybody's in the mood.
Yep. We've talked a lot of NFL over the past few weeks, futures, division winners, all those things.
Yeah.
Some individual awards. But now let's hone in on some conferences that's we got the Big Ten Media Days coming up here. People talking about the Big 12 Media Days.
Yeah.
I think
just everybody's in the mind now. College Football 25 has dropped for Xbox and PlayStation. EA Sports, we haven't had it since 2014.
Yep.
Everybody's playing it now. Everybody's getting used to the names, all that kind of stuff. So it's the best time to talk about these futures, right, Andy?
I bet you remember who was on the cover of the last one, don't you?
Denard Robinson, Michigan. Yep.
Shoelace.
Yep.
Yep.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
EA
draft pick.
Gave a... that's like the Sports Illustrated curse, right?
Yeah.
That's what happened to Michigan until last year. That curse didn't wear off.
Didn't wear out until then.
Then they come up with a game and Michigan wins the championship.
Yep. It's pretty cool though, Andy. I have dabbled in it a little bit already, and it is pretty awesome. And definitely be playing it for the next 9 months of my life.
Oh yeah, my Twitter feed's full of everybody showing me their clips of look how I scored with the Huskers. Look at this pass from Dylan Raiola. Wow,
it's crazy. I've seen Nebraska over Iowa like 45-0 like 9 times today.
Nice.
Yeah, very good.
Back on track. I mean, esports-wise anyway.
Esports-wise.
All right, well, let's hop into the Big Ten. Let's stay right there with the real championship odds to win the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And out front, you got Ohio State with great reason. The full stable everywhere, which way you want to look at. DraftKings has them at a plus 155.
Yes.
DK has them at a plus 155. Then right behind them is a newcomer, Oregon, at plus 200 on a lot of books.
Yeah.
And then Michigan's in that 3-hole. And of course, you're already hearing a lot of chirping out of Michigan, like, disrespecting us and this and that. It's like, well, you lost your quarterback, lost your coach.
There's a whole bunch of pieces. A lot of people from Michigan went to the NFL this past year.
Yeah, you lost. There's a lot of things missing now, and there's a lot of uncertainty in some key spots. Like your head coach.
Yeah.
I might think Michigan maybe should be further down the list here.
They should definitely be behind Penn State, which some books already show at plus 500 to plus 600.
Yep.
And then, you kind of get into the weeds a little bit with USC, Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin, all at plus 2,200 all the way to plus 6,500.
So I know you wanted to get into kind of a best bet or how you were really looking at this, and I think you're going quack. Right?
Yeah, I'm not going quack, Andy.
No, you're not going with the Ducks?
Ohio State and Oregon have the best 2 rosters in the conference. Like you were just saying, 2 of the best 3 rosters, I believe, in the entire country. I believe these guys are 1 and 3, respectively. Yeah. But Ohio State has I think a slight edge over Oregon with the newly aligned conference. And, this is why I think that. The Buckeyes travel to Eugene on October 12th to clash, which will most likely be a preview of the Big Ten title game, Andy.
Sure.
This showdown could also preview a playoff matchup as well. The Ducks rarely lose at home, Andy, and that's what's going to be such a big eye-opener of this game. Is I think Ohio State is going to go on the road and beat Oregon.
Get them?
And I see them beating the Oregon Ducks again in the Big Ten title game if Eugene would prove not,
Yeah, give him the hiccup.
Give him the hiccup. So I really like Ohio State here at plus 155. I think you're unlikely to find a better number for Ohio State down the line.
Right.
I believe once the season gets started, you're going to look into minus money on this bet. Plus 155, I believe, is the best you're going to get. And I think Ohio State is just above and beyond the best team in the Big Ten, especially for a newcomer to come in and take them off that throne with the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, and Ryan Day, he catches so much heat, especially from the Ohio State faithful. But he's lost 4 games in 3 years or something stupid like that. And another indicator is when you look at national championship odds, Ohio State's right there with Georgia as a favorite. Yeah. And then right behind them is Oregon at a plus 800.
Yeah.
So they're neck and neck.
These are 2 of the best teams in the country. Like I said, I think 1 and 3. But the whole thing about Oregon, why I think about this, I don't see them winning both. I don't think they're going to win both games. Okay. Even if they win the one in Eugene, it's going to be very hard for them to beat Ohio State in a neutral site rematch, which would decide this bet, the Big Ten championship. So I believe the Ohio State Buckeyes will take down the championship, and with good reason, I believe that they are in the Big Ten, and Oregon State is Oregon is the newcomer.
I think the long shot play would have to be either Penn State or USC.
No doubt.
But I once you get past Penn State and Michigan, you're really taking flyers then.
Yeah.
And out of those Flyers, I don't even know if I like USC over Iowa.
No.
I think I like Iowa better.
Yeah, I think you would have to put Iowa. I
Their
don't like
offense
Michigan.
has to be
I don't
better.
like Michigan. I don't like Michigan. Throw that out the window. Penn State would have to be the play for me, or you flip onto our side, which would be Iowa. Is the only team that I think they can keep in a game with Ohio State,
that
but
defense.
that's still probably not going to happen. I believe Ohio State or Oregon. Pick your side, which way you want to go. I'm going Ohio State. I don't believe you're going to get a better betting odd than plus 155 the entire season.
Just like I felt, talking about feels.
Yeah.
I felt like last year was Michigan's year.
No doubt.
And that's how it felt to me the whole time.
Yeah.
And this upcoming season feels like Ohio State.
It is.
Like the schedule plays out for them, and like you mentioned early in the season, yes, they have to go out to Eugene, Oregon, and take on the Ducks, but they'll probably get them back for the championship
No doubt
game
about it.
on a
No
neutral
doubt
field.
about it.
So that plays right into Ohio State's hands, and I think why you're seeing some of the odds shake out the way they are.
Yes,
right now.
sir. Plus money for Ohio State. Bucket.
All right, should we talk Big 12?
Big 12.
Okay, we do have a lot of Kansas State fans out in the
Yeah.
central Nebraska area.
Go Cats.
And they are your favorites at a plus 350. Well, depending on which book you're looking at.
Kind of.
Yeah, Utah's right there as well, right?
Yeah.
Plus 300, plus 350 as well. I don't know. I kind of like... Just because Kansas State is in this new Big 12 and they've been in the new Big 12 longer, I'd probably lean towards the Wildcats over Utah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of going to go against what I just said about the newcomer in the Big Ten. Is I really like the newcomer coming into the Big 12.
You like Utah? Yeah.
I just really like Utah, and the big reason is Cam Rising, their quarterback. He missed the entire season last year. He was part of two teams that won, back-to-back Pac-12 titles. I just think he's probably coming in the best player in the Big 12 right now with the departure of Oklahoma and Texas. So I really like him rising. I think, with this healthy return, I believe that they just have the edge over the Kansas State Wildcats. But you said, I don't think that that's a bad bet either with Kansas State. No matter where you find them at a plus 400, anywhere around there, I think is a good bet for Kansas State as well. I just believe Utah is a more talented team.
Sure.
But if Kansas State can put together some defensive stops against them, we might be going purple this year in the Big 12.
Yeah. Well, in Utah, they did steal a receiver from USC through the transfer portal, Darian Singer. So now they are going to have three really good receivers for Rising to distribute the ball to. And their defense shouldn't be an issue under Kyle Whittingham. I always liked him as a head coach. And now he's over there at Utah, and you're seeing the results there.
Yeah. Just so I'm clear, we're not putting any money on Colorado.
Oh, I wanted to get to them. And you're not. Let's talk a little long shot here.
Long shots.
Long shot. The Buffaloes coming in at plus 4,000.
Oh my God.
Oh boy,
what a joke.
There are 10 teams with 20-1 or better odds to win the Big 12 over Colorado.
You want to know how bad Colorado is? I'm sorry that I'm bringing this up and I sound like a hater and all that kind of stuff. Their over-under for wins right now is 5.5.
Ooh.
In the Big 12, Andy. They play in the Big 12 conference and their over-under for wins is 5.5. You know what Nebraska's is? Right now,
7.5.
7.5, and we play in the Big 10.
Yeah.
That should tell you how bad Colorado is.
Whoa.
And then we're going to go into week 2, and everybody's going to say they're going to beat us. But no, I can't believe the hype. Sanders is just John trying to get his kid into the NFL. I believe that's all it is. I believe he probably is one of the best players in the country, but he done got a lot around him this year.
Yeah.
So plus 3,000, throw that out the window. Big 12 ain't happening this year for the Colorado Buffaloes.
I don't think so either. Shadur Sanders and cornerback Travis Hunter, of course, they're top heavy.
No doubt. They're top heavy.
But yeah, I mean, they're having a big trouble with the transfer portal not working for him.
Well, he's got his Louis. He's got his Louis. You got to move on. He's got his Louis. He doesn't have anything. He's got over under 5.5 wins. Sorry, Dion. It's not your year.
It's got some really cool sunglasses.
Really cool gold sunglasses, though.
Yeah, and the gold
really cool.
All right, let's wrap up beating up the Buffaloes there and talk a little SEC.
Yeah.
It just matters more over there,
It just does.
And of course, Georgia is your odds-on favorite. They're the odds-on favorite to win the national championship right now.
Yep.
I think I am a little surprised that newcomer, the Longhorns, are sitting there in the 2-hole with the plus 320. It's like the Yankees. You got to talk about Texas if you're talking college football. And here they are trying to make a big splash move in the SEC. everything I'm hearing is, it's going to be tough for Texas and Oklahoma. Okay, well then why is Texas one of your odds-on favorites to win the conference?
It's because they got a really, really good quarterback in Quinn Ewers.
Cover of the EA Sports, right?
With Hunter, like you just said. But I believe, Andy, the really good play here is looking down two teams. I believe that you're getting so much good value with Alabama right now. Plus 800 all the way up to plus 1,000. I just like this number and do not believe you're going to get a better one with Alabama all season, Andy. So
probably not. No.
They lost Hall of Fame coach, like you said.
Who was that guy?
Nick Saban. Saban, is that his name?
Okay, yeah.
Replaced him with Washington's Kalen DeBoer. DeBoer is 104-12.
Yeah,
as a head coach.
He had a good thing going there in Washington.
That is a correct number. Yeah. He has only lost 12 games in his whole career of coaching in 104. Even if you remove his time from NAIA Sioux Falls, where he won 3 titles, DeBoer is 37-9 as a coach at Fresno State in Washington. He led the Huskies to a playoff berth, win over Texas. Semifinal game. His offenses are always explosive, creative, and nearly unstoppable. Alabama's roster did suffer from talent exodus when Saban retired.
But that's on such a weird, different level than what Nebraska fans are talking about.
DeBoer will still be able to bring in number 3 ranked transfer class in the country. Jeez. We're talking number 3. These new look Tide. I think it's as good a play as any. Plus 800 to win the SEC. Sign me up. This number will not get better as the season progresses because they're just going to win. Plus 800, I believe, is the best value you can get in the SEC.
You made a lot of sense right there. What about above them at Ole Miss? I see they're there in the 3 hole at a plus 600.
Yeah. I'm just saying if I'm taking a long shot, I'm taking a proven entity. I know that DeBoer in Alabama is not a proven entity yet, but you still have that sense that Alabama is going to win. They're going to win games. But no, if you're going to take a flyer, I believe it's Alabama, or you got to go with the Longhorns, just because of that high-powered offense with Texas. Yeah,
and give Texas their flowers. They're probably slated just right there in the 2 hole.
I believe so.
With the talent they have.
I believe so.
And Archie Manning and all the things, Arch, okay. What about LSU at a plus 1,000? We heard the horn there, but I want to get your thoughts on the Tigers real quick.
I think they have a good team. I think they're maybe a year away, maybe a year and a half away.
Just right behind Alabama odds-wise.
I like LSU. I just don't believe with this, Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, Alabama, there's not room for a 5th. And LSU, losing Jaden McDaniels, I don't believe that they're going to be able to rebuild that fast. I like Alabama. I like Texas. And Georgia might just run away with this thing now that we're all talking about it. Plus 200, not a lot of good value there. Right. I know I said the same thing about Ohio State, but I do believe there's other teams in this division, in this conference, that can win it, especially with Alabama and Texas.
There you go. All right, well, you heard the horn, so that'll about do us for it this week. Be sure to follow us on ESPN Tri-City Radio and their Facebook page, and then Twitter over there on X. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're always putting on feature-length, full-length videos and those shorts, and you're holding down TikTok.
Yeah, just follow us at WTL Sports Betting on TikTok for parlays, in-game picks, all that stuff on TikTok at WTL Sports Betting.
For JaBron, the Parlay Pounder, I'm Andy Classen. Thank you for listening. This has been WTL.
Herd at Sports Radio, every weekday morning from 7 to 10 a.m. Join hosts Robbie Lula and Damon Benning and our cast of Herd at Sports personalities as they share their fresh perspectives while keeping you highly entertained. Take a dive into the latest news in all things sports, from the pros to right here at home. Catch Herd at Sports Radio with Robbie Lula and Damon Benning, 7 to 10 a.m. on air, online, and on podcast. Herd at Sports Radio.